Why do our best laid plans fail? That's the question for today. How's everyone doing out there? I'm Thomas, and welcome to my channel. Do primarily educational videos on a number of different topics. Most of them are things that you wouldn't have learned in school, or um, alternate versions of things that you might have learned in school that you need to unlearn. Um, but one of the subjects that I work on is this thing here called the Tree of Life. Some other people call it Kabbalah. This is different than Kabbalah, but it's the same diagram. This has ancient Egyptian, um, I won't say origin, but at least went through ancient Egypt. They used it there. They might have inherited it from the people from Atlantis, or the people from Lemuria, or the extraterrestrials, or all of the above. We don't know. And it's not that important, but what's important is that it's a piece of technology that you can use in order to enhance your life. It is not something that is evil, uh, unless you have evil intentions. And then it certainly can become evil. So it's a technology. It's a neutral content. Depends on how you plug it in. And so don't be afraid of it. And in fact, it is a very good self-protection tool against those evil people who are using it against you. If you know their game, then it's much harder for them to play their game on you. Okay, now the Tree of Life has 12 different components, or 12 different um, 12 different categories, and they include these 10 different circles or spheres that are numbered 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then there is an implied circle or sphere here called the abyss. And then there is a zero area here above the tree. So that's 12 different components, and those are 12 faculties of consciousness, or abilities of consciousness, or aspects of consciousness that we have. And we try to kind of learn how to develop them as we evolve. Now, originally, the universe is created up here, and the creation goes in this direction, and then these are the living beings, and then the living beings evolve in this direction. So normally we go this way to kind of pay attention to our evolution, our spiritual evolution. But originally, when the universe was the process of creation of the universe goes in this direction. So just to point that out. Okay, so the 10th sphere here is about our wild animal consciousness, our reptilian brain, the law of the jungle, survival of the fittest, also the condition of the body, and just like the kind of defilements of the body, that creates all these waste products and all this disgustingness. And that's all part of the 10th sphere as well. So this is for people who are being threatened with their lives. They don't care about some of the things up here, like social pressures, or convenience, or um, right or wrong. They're fighting for their lives. Okay, then the ninth sphere has to do with the earliest years of our lives, when we are soaking everything up like a sponge. We're highly receptive, and we pay attention to those people in our domestic environment, however we're growing up in our nest, and we are basically, soaking up influences from our parents and whoever's raising us. We watch what they do, and then we practice what they do and learn to imitate what they do. The process is blind, however, so we don't discern, because discern is like a seventh sphere thing. We don't discern that this thing that we're copying actually might be wrong. That's not part of our thinking. So again, we open up these new faculties one at a time, little at a time. We're basically born with this intact, and this is kind of, we know we can, without putting any conscious mind on it, we naturally move into this, but this has to be opened up through that kind of process of receptivity and practice. Then the eighth sphere is somewhat similar to that, but whereas the ninth sphere occurs in the domestic sphere, the eighth sphere occurs in the public sphere. So we have influences out in public as well. Our teachers and our preachers and our coaches, and the media and the man in the street, and just the rumor mill and the wire, so-called, just the talk on the street, and also the expert opinion, the guys in the white lab coats, the guys that wear the badges, and the guys who have all the initials after their name. These all give everything a patina of legitimacy, and to the extent that we believe in what they tell us is the conventional wisdom or the consensus worldview, we can find ourselves actually being promoted into the eighth sphere, and this is the comfort zone. This is where if you just follow the beliefs, you get the path of least resistance. You get all the high grades, you get there's no conflict. Everything is just greased up for you, and it's easy to then become kind of a junior member of the eighth sphere. And then as a result, we end up kind of justifying all these different belief systems that we're being fed, and we believe in them, and we justify them, and we rationalize them. So even though we might get a glimmer that, hey, maybe this isn't true, this thing I'm believing in, we believe in it anyway because we rationalize it, because it's paying off for us. We got that scholarship to go to college, or we got that cushy job, and so even though there might be a few anomalies, we might notice that there's something that doesn't quite make sense. We kind of shush that to the back of our mind, like, oh no, don't pay any attention to that, because it's going to upset the apple cart. It's going to rock the boat too much. And so we end up kind of rationalizing our own acquiescence to this eighth sphere deception, because the eighth sphere is the trickster, and so the eighth sphere is the seat of deception, as well as all this consensus worldview, and all the institutions and all the resources are here. So this is where everything is at stake, and so for the person that moves over to the seventh sphere, that's the person who glimpsed the eighth sphere and is like, I smell a rat. Something's wrong. This doesn't make any sense. I don't believe this anymore. And so where the eighth sphere is the real world, the seventh sphere is the imaginary world. So the seventh sphere is for people who are like, I don't think so. At least on a specific topic or a specific issue, or possibly on everything. But they're just like, I don't think so. I imagine a different way that it works. And they use their imagination, their intuition, their inspiration, their creative spark, their creative process, and their pleasure principle, and they they create something that maybe is an alternative to what's going on in the A-sphere, an improvement over what's going on in the A-sphere. They say, I don't believe this, and I will write this song, or I will come up with this invention that actually works better than the thing that you're giving me here. So that seventh sphere is an important alternative. However, there is a kind of a caveat in that, the A-sphere is a deceiver. So kind of on your way toward the seventh sphere, you bump into what's called a fake seventh sphere, or what's called the cool front. So this is a fake facsimile of the seventh sphere, and a lot of people end up getting trapped here at the fake seventh sphere, where they think they're in the seventh sphere, but they're actually still in the A-sphere. A lot of the kind of progressive movements, the hippie movement, was usually, in the 60s, the leaders of the movement, the hardcore people in the movement, were at the seventh sphere, but the people that just came over for the sex and drugs and rock and roll, they ended up kind of getting stuck here at the fake seventh sphere. Okay, the seventh sphere also gives you a lift. It gives you the inspiration to lift you up into the higher aspects of the tree, toward the sixth sphere. And the sixth sphere is our free will faculty, centrally located. This is where our consciousness emanates, but the free will faculty is our ability to pay attention and to make decisions. And so generally we're paying attention from the sixth sphere, but we have our attention, which is a vector, it's a direction. Our attention is focused on 8, 9, and 10, which is kind of, like I was saying, is our comfort zone. This is all the behavior that we're accustomed to. We grew up with all this. This is our heritage, and so it's very easy for us to kind of focus our attention on that, especially since probably a lot of our friends and loved ones are messing around in this area too, and they're trying to kind of draw us back into this. So they try to attract our attention here, and tell us that we're going through a phase, or your head's in the clouds. Maybe you might need here's a card. This is my psychiatrist. Perhaps you might want to give them a call and see if you can get a little bit of help. Different things that are happening here that are kind of keeping us stuck, keeping our attention locked in on this little triangle here, and in some cases the seventh sphere too. But the other aspect of our free will faculty is our ability to make decisions. So at a certain point, we get fed up with all this pressure to conform, and we turn our attention around and say, look, I'm going to focus on the higher aspects of myself, which I need to draw out of myself. And so I'm going to turn my attention to the higher aspects. I'm making that decision. And so you make that decision, which is a difficult decision because it requires overcoming a lot of fear. And then we are able to begin to tune into the higher aspects of ourselves. And this is kind of the key thing here at the sixth sphere and in our spiritual evolution in general. Now, when we do that, we're kind of staring into nothingness, because these areas of the tree are not well developed, if they're developed at all. And so we are kind of looking into the unknown. We don't really know what we're looking for or what we're looking at when our attention is focused up the tree. But we do know that if we continue to pay attention, our faculties of consciousness will gradually inform us what's going on. And this is true in particular of the fifth sphere, which is our sense of justice. And you can think of our sense of justice as being like a mirror here at the end of the fifth sphere. This is otherwise known as karma, uh, which is, what comes around goes around. So even though this is, more of a linear thing, this is, because of this mirror here, this is a circular process, I guess, where, you act and your karma comes back to you. And your karma evaluates things based on waste and violence and violation. And so if you are acting in a violent manner, you will have that returned to you. And if you are paying enough attention, you will notice that the results of your action were not optimal, and possibly you can reform your action to eliminate some of that violence from it, and you will get a better result. And so you can use karma as your teacher to teach you how to clean up your activity so that you don't create so much karma with your action. Now, our karma is the enforcement of the law. This works in tandem with the fourth sphere, which is the articulation of the law. The law is normally articulated this is the universal law and the natural law, not the decree or commandment of the eighth sphere, but the natural law or universal law, which is determined through observation and all kinds of other things like that, like scientific processes, investigation, experimentation, experience, and also intuition. All these things kind of go into the formation of a cosmology or ancient holy book or a theory of everything. This purports to describe how everything works, how everything fits together into a larger whole, and how they interact with each other and how we fit into it. And so this also includes the universal language and the universal love. So the universal language is innate languages that we know without having to be taught. And then the universal love, be able to give seeking nothing in return, and to be able to love our enemies. Then the abyss here is the psychic powers. This is our ability to tune into and recognize omens or synchronicities or coincidences that are episodes in our life that are uncanny, that defy statistics, and that are pointers for us as important things that we need to notice. This really works out to be like a magnetic charge. And we are attracted to that charge, but then the second part of the psychic power is to be able to actually act upon that. We might be attracted or we might notice the synchronicity happening, but then there's a second part, which is an action, which is really like moving toward that charge. So the attraction. And that is the second part of the psychic powers, psychic heat, and then the first part is psychic receptivity. Okay, then the top of the tree, 3, 2, and 1, this triangle is our divine faculties within. Omnipotence, all powerful, tapped into through sound synchronization. Omniscience, all knowing, or wisdom, our ability to solve problems, tapped into through being able to see, kind of like see underneath the surface, to see internally, or insight. And then the first sphere is omnipresence, or all present, all at once, all everything, eternally. And this is the unifying factor. This is the factor that is contained within everything. The 19th century physicists called it the ether, And this is what underlies everything, and it unites everything, because once you are able to quiet everything down enough to that you can actually penetrate to your deepest center, which requires total calm, then you're able to actually recognize that what's in you is exactly what's in everybody else, and it's a unifying factor. And then it, you know, you can't see other people and other things as being separate from yourself. You see that as all being part of one, and so you're no longer, playing this competitive, dog eat dog kind of thing. You see everything as being the same. And then the zero sphere above the tree is really the mystery, what we don't know about the universe. Even though we can study Tree of Life for 1,000,000 years, there still remains an inherent mystery to the universe, and that's because the zero is really not part of the universe. The zero is part of the creator, but it's the part of the creator that is not in the universe. So, you can kind of imagine the universe to be just one thought or one dream or one daydream in the thought of the creator. They have one thought, and that is the whole universe, the whole eternal, all from the beginning of the universe to the end of the universe is just one thought in the mind of the creator. The zero sphere is the rest of the creator. Okay, we're just one thought. Our universe is just one thought in the creator, and the zero sphere is all the other thoughts and all the other activities and the body and everything else about the creator. So anyway, that's just an analogy. That's not like any kind of dogma or anything. Okay, so that's kind of how the tree works, and that's really like the beginner's aspect. Now, if we want to go a little bit further, what we do is we take the whole tree and we shrink it down and we apply it to each one of the spheres. So you can take the tree and you can apply it to anything and break it down into its 12 component parts. So that's what we've done with each one of the spheres. So 12 here, 12 here, 12 here, 12 here, and so on, for a total of 144 different fractal faculties of consciousness, or what I call stages of life. But the stages are not chronological stages, they are dramatic stages. So 144 different dramas that we go through as we go through life. And I have compiled a list of these 144, which I'd be happy to send to you if you click the link in the description for free. So please do that, and then you'll have a list that kind of helps you to keep track of all these different 144 videos that I'm doing on each one of the stages. This helps you to kind of see the continuity and to cross-reference, so that you're able to better follow along with all the things that I'm doing here. So just click the link in the description, and you'll have that pretty much immediately. Now today, I'm working on stage number 34. Why do our best laid plans fail? And if you look at stage 34, you'll determine that it is in the A sphere, and it is the second fractal in the A sphere. So the A sphere is where the consensus worldview is, all the expert opinion, all the belief systems and the rational faculty and the rationalizations. And then the second sphere within it is like the wisdom faculty, ability to solve problems, also the ability to see into the future, the divination, to anticipate, and it comes through vision. So those are the two aspects that are at play here with the why do our best laid plans fail. Number 34, unforeseen consequences. Stage number 34 is about results due to plans that were not anticipated. Super genius plans blowing up in my face yet again. Watch out what we pray for because we just might get it. What could possibly go wrong? Short-sighted, blindsided from the exclusive use of reason, or for no reason at all, which takes us by surprise if we refuse to move from our own ignorance and recognize the limitations of reason. Think it through rationally, but expect the unexpected. Be ready to alter or completely junk our best laid plans. Like a new head of the Hydra, there will always be subtle contingencies to wreck the plan. In a universe of motion, a universe of abstract change in 3 dimensions, there's always going to be some novelty. You still got to have a plan. Just be ready to adjust it or abandon it. Anticipating negative consequences prevents them from happening. If we refuse to move from our ignorance or even acknowledge it, we'll be repeatedly blindsided. Probability is not a reliable anticipatory tool. It can hang us out to dry, like a batter who's thrown a curveball, a changeup, a cutter, and he's sitting on cheese. So many brilliant plans that have blown up in my face through one of the blind spots I didn't know of yet. Coming from around unexpected corners, we can hatch a brilliant plan, but we cannot count our chickens before we actually execute the plan. And when our leaders come up with a plan, don't just assume the plan will work and go to sleep. Hold them accountable for the execution and success of the plan. How do we fall for this over and over? There is a huge chasm between having a plan and seeing it through. Let it be a lesson to us. Again, even the most subtle contingencies can wreck the plan. The priests, the JDs, the MDs, the PhDs, and the NBCs of the world tell us things will result. The conventional wisdom tells us what to do in every situation. But in a universe of motion, there's always going to be some novelty. We can't grasp the whole at once. Like the Hydra. Life, like the Hydra, surprises even the most prepared. For every problem we account for, there are 2 more we miss. No acceptance of conclusions without verification. So be prepared to ditch the plan and wing it. Short-sightedness? Not if we put our eyes in the back or around the corner. Reason, think it through, but expect the unexpected. Okay, that is number 34, the second fractal of the the second fractal of the 8th sphere. Number 34, unforeseen consequences. And this one, like most of the ones in the 8th sphere, are relevant and topical to today's times. And thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. And if you got anything out of it, you can press the like button. You can share the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also click the link in the description to get the free list of the 144 fractal faculties. And if you're what is the word? Inspired, I guess. That's not the word, but I'll sub that one in. If you're inspired to and you feel generous today, you can look for my Cash App or Venmo accounts, and you can donate to the channel and to future research and this tree fractal project. And stay tuned for future videos on the same subject and many others coming up. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.